Greetings, salutations, and this is Tech Plays here, back with more Akimbot, and hold on. Sorry, I need to drink something. I just started this video with, like, scratchy throat for some reason. I thought that was a good idea, you know.
Left.
Whatever.
Take the left path.
Oh, that's better. Anyway, we're almost done with this game, and what I'm thinking of doing, if I have the time to do it, I might just upload 5 videos this week just to get the last 3 parts of this video Let's Play out. Because I am really excited about my next Let's Play. I talked about, like, in a few parts before that it's going to be like a longer RPG, but those plans were scrapped, which is why one of the main reasons I didn't say what game it was is because I don't want to make false promises, and I've had a bad habit in the past of saying what game I'm going to play next and then canceling the Let's Play for another game. And that's exactly what happened here. I'm going to be doing Crash 3 next, and the reason I'm even name dropping that game is because I'm so close to starting that Let's Play that I know for a fact I'm doing it, that it's not being canceled. I've been wanting to do more Crash games on my channel. There's only a few on modern consoles. There's the Insane Trilogy, which is 3 different games. I already did Crash 2 in that. There's CTR Nitro Fuel, which I gotta do someday. And there's Crash 4, which I've already done. I've already done Crash 2 and Crash 4. I can still do CTR, Crash 3, and Crash 1. And I'm doing Crash 3. You might be wondering, well, why did I choose to do Crash 3? Because I know I've talked about in the past that Crash 1 might be the next Crash game I do. Well, it's... Oh, jeez. Well, it's kind of simple. Basically, I started recording Crash 1 planning to do that one, but then I decided I don't really feel like playing this game right now, and I just said, let's give Crash 3 a try, and that's literally how it happened. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I just boiled me a whole ass cup of green tea just to help my throat. It's gotta cool off though, so I won't be able to drink it just yet, because it's like too hot to drink right now. Need to wait for it to get too warm status, so currently I don't know if I'm going to be able to clear my throat. Anyway, Crash 3 is the next Let's Play plan, and that's definitely sticking, because I'm almost done with the Let's Play anyway. I've beaten the 3rd boss. I've done 2 levels in the 4th room. I've got 14 of the gems, 5 of the relics. The game says I'm at like 30-something%, but like, I consider myself about halfway done, kind of, because, well, yeah, because I got 16 crystals. Like, I'm counting, I don't know, the game counts, like, the crystals almost the same amount of percentage as the gems for some reason, if I recall. And I kind of count the story as most of what I gotta do, because, a lot of the extra gems and relics are not going to be recorded on video. I am going to record myself doing like some of the gems that I had to go back for, but in terms of like gems that I just had to replay a level for, like a box gem that I missed or something, I'm not really going to be recording those. I know there was one of those prehistoric dino chase levels I had to go back to do the red gem path to get an extra clear gem. I know I did that one. Red Gem's the only one I currently have at the time of that Let's Play, but yeah. It's definitely going to be my next Let's Play. It's going to be a shorter Let's Play. I don't know how many parts it's going to be yet, because I am including a few clips outside of the main gameplay, but I think I have 4 or 5 videos recorded already. I think. Don't recall. I'm definitely not recording any of the relic shit, because I already hate doing relics, and I'm really bad at relics in Crash 3, which is why I've only 100%ed Crash 3 once in my life. See, I've 100%ed Crash 2 3 times. Crash 2, in my opinion, is a much better game to 100%, and it's probably the best game to 100% in the series, in my opinion. It and CTR are probably the best ones to 100%, because they're 100% completion requirements are actually fun. But you might be saying, why am I saying CTR? CTR's completion requirements are fun when I don't like time relics, because the time relics are way more fun to get in CTR than they are in Crash 3. In Crash 3, they're a bitch because you can't die. I mean, I know you can't fall. I know if you fall off the track in Crash in CTR, that you're basically gonna have to probably gonna have to repeat time trial. Well, that's better because that's actually one of the few things I do like about the motorcycle levels, is you can't die in them. So the time relics are slightly easier to get. Even though I hate the motorcycle levels otherwise, I fucking hate, what's it called? Road Crash? I had to replay Road Crash 15 times for the Let's Play just to get the crystal. Not the gem, not the relic, crystal. I kid you not. It is my least favorite level in the game, if memory serves me correct, because I don't remember the other motorcycle levels. It's bad. I think there's only one more motorcycle level, and I think it's in the extra warp room. You gotta unlock the relics. But if I recall, Area 51 shouldn't be as bad as Road Crash. Road Crash has a bunch of steep turns which can get you thrown off of the road, because the turning mechanics in the motorcycle levels are ass. And yes, I'm blaming the controls for that one, because that's the whole reason I had to replay that level 15 times. 15 is just an estimate too, it could be more, it could be a little less, but 15 is an estimate. I had to replay that level like 15 times because of the turning. Well, no, not just because of the turning, it's also because you get bumped. There were times where I got bumped into like holes and obstacles by those other cars. I don't know. I don't remember the original Crash 3 doing that. I could have sworn the original Crash 3 when you played the motorcycle levels, you just kind of slid against the enemies. But for some reason in the insane trilogy, you get bumped off them. The amount you get bumped off is enough to throw you into obstacles and into holes and stuff. And it makes it so frustrating.
For Bot's sake! Where did you learn to drive, you maniac?
Oh, like you can talk! You can't even reach the pedals on that car!
Shut up, both of you! We don't have much time, and we still don't even know what we're supposed to be doing!
You mean you don't know? I know exactly what to do! Back when I was studying for the algorithm, I studied the artifact. I was the one who discovered the powers it possessed. When I realized the ambassador was plotting to steal my research, I began looking for a way to destroy the artifact before he could use it. That's when I created the machine, specifically designed for the artifact. It's the only thing capable of destroying it once and for all. But even after the ambassador cast me out, I hoped I'd never need to use the machine. So I hid it in the depths of this very mine.
The machine? Ah, that's such a lame name.
Focus! What's the plan, Evilware?
You two find the machine. Dig it out with your bare hands if you have to. I'll head out and find us a way off this disgusting planet. You find the machine, I find a ship. Can you wrap your rusty riddled circuits around that?
But we still don't know where this hunk of junk is.
What am I, your babysitter? Just get to work and figure it out!
Come on, Shipset. We're not gonna get anything out of this guy. Evilware, remember what I told you. If you try to screw with us, you're a dead bot.
Ooh! I'm shaking in my tentacles! Just find the machine!
Here we are to the next level. I know I've been talking about like Crash 3 only this whole video, but I've already like admitted I am tired of this Let's Play. This Let's Play has gone on too long because I decided to do Silent Hill 2 with it. I should have saved Silent Hill 2 till after this one.
Mine on any map. But those
That's what I should have done.
Those are pure bolts.
I should have went ahead and recorded it, but saved it till after. I love the music in some places in this game, by the way. I love the music for this level. Like, I played a few seconds when the level started, because of, well, mainly because I was trying to see where I need to continue my commentary, because I usually shut up for cutscenes like I did there. But, yeah, that's basically, I ended up listening to, like, 30 seconds of the footage of this level, because I was like, damn, I forgot how good this music is. Because, like, Akimbot's definitely not my favorite soundtrack in video games, probably not even top 10, but it's pretty good, all things considered, especially for, like, what I think is an indie title. I believe this game is an indie title, if I recall. I don't play many indie games. I'm really judgmental on indie games. I shouldn't be, but I kind of am, because a lot of indie games do shit I don't like. Like, a lot of them are 2D side-scrolling and walking sim horror games. And I don't like either of those types of games. Like, I think, trying to remember, I can count on one hand the 2D games I enjoy. I'm not a big fan of them. Okay, well, I can count on more than one hand if I count every 2D Sonic game I like, probably. Let me see here. I like Sonic Rush Adventure, I like Sonic Rush. I like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I like Sonic 2, I like Crash Bandicoot The Huge Adventure, that's a fun one. One day I kind of want to do some older Crash games on my channel. The only reason I haven't is because, like, the only reason I haven't really is because I gotta figure out a better way to, like, do them. Because the way I did Sonic Rush Adventure, I couldn't pick up the audio of the game, so I had to, like, edit music and shit over the game footage. And I don't want to do that with, like, future games I play outside of PlayStation 5. And I can't capture, like, sound when it comes to games outside of PlayStation 5, well, PS4 and PS5 games. So that's what sucks about that. I also want to do, like, another Ratchet & Clank game in the future, but I'm kind of restricted on that too, because all the Ratchet & Clank games I would love to record a Let's Play of are restricted to PlayStation Plus Premium, I think? I don't remember if it's Premium or if it's Extra, but it's restricted to one of those two, and I don't really have Advanced PlayStation Plus anymore. I had it for a little while. I was thinking of re-upgrading to PlayStation Extra at the very least, because I like its perks. But I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. It depends on how cheap it is. It really depends on how cheap it is, because, like, here's the thing. Every month I use, like, $20, $30 to spend on, like, something random. Well, not really something random, usually just something, like, extra. I'll either use it to get, like, someone a gift, or I'll use it to buy myself a game, or something of that nature. If it's $30 or less to upgrade to PlayStation Extra for the rest of my current, PlayStation subscription, I might get it. Because I like the perks of being able to download games I didn't buy. Like, you're basically saving money by doing that, if it's cheap enough. So I might actually go for PlayStation Extra for that reason. Because then I can play so many more games on my channel. That's actually what helped me in the last season of Roadhog Games. I know I called it volumes, but I'm just going to say seasons, because I think it was so dumb that I changed it to volumes, quite honestly. I did that as a Ruby fan. Let me get that out there. I did it as a Ruby fan. I'm still a Ruby fan. I still love Ruby, but, like, I think I shouldn't have just renamed it volumes. It sounds dumb to call, like, Let's Play seasons volumes for some reason. But yeah, what was I gonna say? That actually helped me a lot in the last season of Roadhog Games, if I recall, because that's how I played A Hat in Time. That's how I got super good well, no, you get the discounts on Essentials, so I can't really say that. But that's how I got, like, what the fuck was I gonna say? I know I got A Hat in Time that way. Hi-Fi Rush and Hack were games that I just bought and permanently own. So can't really say those, but I know I played A Hat in Time via PlayStation Extra. Let me just take a quick look at my Let's Play history. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. Like I said, I gotta wear my headset weird so my mic isn't so close to my face. Sometimes that causes me to hit the mic by accident. Roll on Games. I had 264 videos for Roll on Games. Jeez. Okay. So I know A Hat in Time. Actually, that was the only game I played from PlayStation Extras. I can't even say that. Because last volume of Roll on Games, I did Dot Hack GU Volume 1, which I purchased recently before I started. Well, I purchased it shortly before doing that Let's Play. A Hat in Time was through PlayStation Extra. That short little Monster Prom Let's Play I did with Lou Cherry, that was something I permanently owned. Same with Hi-Fi Rush. I owned Crash 2 and RE7 for years at that point. I owned them both since 2017, their release years. And, yeah. That's basically it. So I guess I only, like, took advantage of one game through PlayStation Extra. So much so, actually, that I do want to repurchase A Hat in Time one day to permanently own it, because it's a really good-ass game. Like, I'm not even kidding. A Hat in Time is fantastic.
You think Evilware's just stringing us along, XA?
Do I like A Hat in Time as much as Akimbot?
But he wants to see the ambassador taken down more than anyone.
Two bad guys getting rid of each
That's
other.
a tough one to say, because Akimbot is more up my alley. It's more the type of platformer I enjoy. I always liked the more linear, challenging platformers like Crash Bandicoot, Ratchet and Clank. Well, Ratchet and Clank usually had like multiple paths, but it was still like more linear for the most part, if I recall. Like, some people will tell you like the old games like Ratchet 2 and 3 were not linear, but I've played them. They're pretty linear. They just have alternate paths you can take at a certain level. They're pretty linear levels with just a few secrets hidden in. And, like, that's just more up my alley. Like, I would have counted Sonic too, because Sonic is pretty linear games. You just have multiple paths.
Down more than anyone.
But I can't really count Sonic because I did specify challenging platformers. And most of the Sonic games, aside from, like, Sonic Unleashed, the Rush games, and the original Genesis games, aren't really that challenging, all things considered. Like, I think the hardest non-2D Sonic game besides... Well, even... Actually, no. This game might even be harder than Unleashed. I feel like the hardest non-2D Sonic game would literally be, like, Sonic Heroes or Sonic Adventure 2. Because, like, the games have gotten easier over the years. Shadow Generations did bump up the difficulty a little bit. But the games have gotten, like, way too easy over the years, and I'm kind of glad they're, like, throwing difficulty back into the games with Shadow Generation. It wasn't really a problem until, like... It wasn't a problem for me, and you gotta keep in mind that I never played Lost World when saying this. So I don't know if Lost World had this issue. But it didn't really become a problem for me until Sonic Forces. And then, as much as I enjoy Sonic Frontiers kind of carried over that issue Forces had where it was way too easy. But then Shadow Generations kind of like redeemed the series a little bit. Like, Frontiers already redeemed the series somewhat, but I feel like Shadow Gens did the rest of the work. It was kind of like an RE7 versus RE2 remake situation, in my opinion, where like I see RE7 as the game that saved the series, but RE2 remake was the one that finished the job, that made like that actually did it completely right. Whereas RE7 is a good game that had a few issues, but it was good enough to save the series. I feel like that's what Frontiers is the RE7 of Sonic games. And then, I feel like, Shadow Generations is the RE2 remake of Sonic games. It's even got a remake. Well, no, it's more of a remaster. It's even got a remaster of an old game in it, which makes it even more similar. And Sonic Generations, one of the most beloved Sonic games. Before its remake, even after its remake, RE2, one of the most beloved Resident Evil games. So yeah. I do have like a couple issues with both Shadow Gens and RE2 remake, but I feel like they're both like solid 9 out of 10 games. There's barely anything wrong with them. And the couple issues, I can't even say few because I think I can only name like 2 issues for both games. Tops. But what was I gonna say? I feel like the qualities greatly outweigh the flaws when it comes to Shadow Gens and Sonic X Shadow Generations. Or not Shadow X. Shadow Gens and Resident Evil 2. I'm sorry. I lost what I was saying for a minute. Forgive me. But I feel like there's like 2 things I have issue with both games. With RE2 Remake, I kind of do wish they brought back that zapping system people talk about. It's probably the one thing the game's missing. And I think the Birkin G2 fight just sucks ass. I think it's one of the worst bosses in Resident Evil history, honestly. On the flip side, though, I fucking love fighting Birkin G3 and Mr. X. And Birkin G4. They're both pretty, they're all 3 pretty fun. Basically, actually, even Birkin G5 isn't really that bad. I'd say the only weak boss fight in Resident Evil 2 Remake is just G2. G1 is decent for a first boss, and then all the endgame bosses are just either awesome or they're G5 and they're just decent. Jeez, I am taking a lot of damage on this level. Like, I'm not being careful at all. You see me hitting these boxes.
Open sesame!
But yeah, I'm a big Resident Evil and Crash nerd. They're probably my favorite video game series of all time, with Sonic being like a third. Sonic used to be my top favorite series of all time, but then like the Forces years came and like Crash and Resident Evil basically had their renaissance while Sonic was suffering for a few years. So like they kind of went up higher on my list. Now we're at a point where Crash is not releasing anything and Sonic is thriving, so it's kind of weird how that happened. I really hope another Crash game comes out, and I hope that like the renaissance of Crash continues. I know Crash Team Rumble didn't do that well. I know it didn't. I thought it was a pretty decent game. I thought it was more fun than most multiplayer games, but I can see why it didn't do that well, because Crash isn't a series you should be doing that type of game with in the first place. Crash should be a series you do single player games with, or if you have to do a multiplayer game with, they could have done like a party game again, because Crash is ripe for a good party game. We've only gotten like, when it comes to Crash Bandicoot, surprisingly we only gotten trash party games like Crash Bash and Boom Bang. We've never gotten a good Crash party game, and it's kind of funny because Crash is perfect for a good party game in my opinion. I feel like next to Mario, Crash has the most potential for a good party game. And reason why I say next to Mario is because Mario has actually reached that potential before where Crash hasn't.
Maybe they should have thought about adding.
I feel like the
I
Sonic
don't know,
series could also have good
lore?
potential for a party game, but I don't think Sega's ever gonna do that again because Sonic Shuffle didn't do well at all. And you know how Sega is, if a game, like if a type of game fails one time, or only does like, if a game doesn't do better than decent, they basically go back to the drawing board and change it. They make Sonic Team change how they do things. And yeah, I'm blaming Sega because Sonic Team's not incompetent. They're really not. They've proven that. They've proven they're not incompetent. Sega rushes the fuck out of them, and that's why we get like messy projects. That's why until Shadow Generations, we really didn't have a well polished Sonic game since Sonic Generations.
What the heck is that train wreck?
It took them 13 years to give us another polished Sonic game. Because Sega was rushing them and shit. Like, okay, I can kind of blame Sonic Team a little bit with Forces because Forces took them 4 years. They should have had plenty of time to get that game to be good and shit. They should have had plenty of time for that. But they didn't. So I can kind of blame Sonic Team for Forces, but I don't really blame them for, like, the few messy mistakes in Frontiers. I don't blame them for Lost World. I don't blame them for... Actually, I can't even blame them for those, because those were different developers. I don't blame Big Red Button for Rise of Lyric, because all the plans Big Red Button had would have made an epic Sonic spin-off series. It was Sega that went, oh hey, we're cutting you down, you only have this much time to do this, and like, yeah, you're not gonna be able to do what you wanted to do. Big Red Button wanted to do something that would have been a great Sonic spin-off.
Just one to go.
Sega kept them from doing that. That's when I started blaming Sega for like all the bad Sonic games with the exception of Forces, because again, Sonic Team had plenty of time with Forces. But that's when I started blaming Sega for like all the messiness, because it became evident with Rise of Lyric that it wasn't like the development team's fault. If it was, I feel like because here's another, I feel like Sonic Goes Ultimate is another good example, because I've seen Blind Squirrel do amazing remasters and shit. If I recall, I'm pretty sure they did the Mass Effect and the BioShock remasters. Well, yeah, not BioShock. They did they might have done BioShock. Let me check. I know they did the first Borderlands remaster. They did the remasters of the Mass Effect games, and those are all great. All fantastic in my opinion.
That doesn't sound good.
This mine's not gonna wait for us. Let's go!
This goddamn cave is gonna collapse on top of us! This is what you get for mining unstable minerals and skipping on the structure, Ambassadunce!
I had to stay silent to let Chipset say that, because that's one of my favorite lines in the game, Ambassadunce. It's so stupid. Like, it's one of the worst insults I've ever heard, and that's why I love it. But yeah, I was correct. Blind Squirrel also did the BioShock collection for modern consoles. They did the BioShock collection, they did the Mass Effect collection, if I recall. I'm gonna fact check myself on that too. I know for a fact they did the BioShock not BioShock, I know for a fact they did the Borderlands remaster. But I'm double checking if Blind Squirrel did Mass Effect. Because I have all these examples. Yep, they did the Legendary Edition. They did the Legendary Edition, the versions of Mass Effect I own. They did the BioShock Collection, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and on top of both of those, they did the Borderlands Remaster. Does that sound like a developer that's incompetent enough to release a game like Sonic Colors Ultimate as it is? I'm sorry, but I gotta point that out. Especially since I'm pretty sure the Mass Effect Legendary Edition released around a similar time to Sonic Colors Ultimate. I'm fact checking myself, don't worry. But I need to know, what else have they done? They done the Mass Effect Legendary Edition history. They did Sonic Colors Ultimate. They did, holy fuck. So they did the original BioShock 2.
They can't even fight properly.
Or rather, they did the PlayStation ports of the original BioShock 2 and Borderlands 2. Which is already super impressive in itself, right? They co-developed BioShock Infinite. Okay? You with me here? They did the BioShock Remaster Collection. They developed Sims 4. They co-developed the God of War 2018 game. They did the remaster of Borderlands. They did... Yep! Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Released the same fucking year as Sonic Colors Ultimate. They co-developed Mass Effect Legendary Edition and remastered Sonic Colors Ultimate. The same year of release. And you're gonna blame Blind Squirrel. Like, I don't know. Back when I saw a bunch of people blaming Blind Squirrel for, like, Sonic Colors Ultimate, especially after, like, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition release, I was really like, y'all are fucking idiots for this shit. You do realize this is Sega's fault, right? Right? Like, I get sick and tired of the dev teams being blamed, especially when the dev teams were just doing their job and got rushed by a fucking Sega. It seems Sega have learned their lesson in recent times, seeing how Shadow Generations and Frontiers came out. They still rushed Sonic Team a bit with Frontiers, but like, hey, Sonic Team took 5 years with Frontiers already. I kind of don't blame them there. But either way, right? It seems like Sega has finally learned their lesson. Especially late because we got Sonic Crossworlds Racing coming out. Sonic Racing Crossworlds coming out. And it seems like it's going to be a great game too. So I feel like Sega's finally learned their lesson not to rush through developers. But if I'm being entirely honest here, I'm still mad that Sega basically dodges blame from most people when a Sonic game does poorly or comes out messy. When Big Red Button, Sonic Team, and Blind Squirrel, they're all fucking innocent. You gotta keep in mind, Big Red Button was made up of ex-Insomniac and Naughty Dog employees. People who made amazing games, right? Stay with me here. Blind Squirrel is responsible for the BioShock collection. They're responsible for the BioShock collection, the Mass Effect collection,
This might be the last
the
time we meet.
remaster of Borderlands, and the PlayStation port of the original Borderlands 2. Well, no, the original BioShock 2 and Borderlands 2.
How is that customer? R&R upgrades to your liking?
Both of those dev teams
They'll
have
help me
proven
tackle
their
the
work.
algorithm.
And then you have Sonic Team, who
What,
recently
Joe?
did
You can't
Frontiers
possibly
and
think our upgrades will help with
Sonic
that.
X Shadow
I
Generations,
doubt
and
you stand a chance against the
and,
algorithm,
you know,
customer,
they
even
did,
with our enhancements.
all those good
Don't
Sonic
underestimate
games in the
FC,
past. You gotta realize that,
Enough
like,
talk. Let's
development
start
over the
this.
years for
If he's
games is taking
fighting,
longer and longer.
drain
I do
every
think
last
5
popcorn.
years to develop a game
Our
is
pockets
what
are
is
never
like
too
what
full.
is probably the
In
limit
that
it should
case,
take.
what's your final wish on this last shopping trip?
But like 5 years, I feel like is where it stops being reasonable for like game development. But at the same time, knowing how few developers they had, or at least like they had fewer developers on the team than usual for Sonic Frontiers, I can gotta see why, you know, Sonic Team didn't make Frontiers as perfect as it could have been. And I have faith in them, especially after Sonic and Shadow Generations. I honestly think whenever we get Frontiers 2, because we know that's the direction the series is going in, it's going to be a lot more like Shadow Generations, but more open world. Like a bigger open world. That's what I'm expecting. It's like more Shadow Generations type design, but bigger open world.
It's just a pile of scrap.
That's what I think they should
This
do.
giant cube is how we're gonna get back at the embassy.
And instead of having the cyberspace stages, do what Shadow Gens did and have like full-on levels that are connected through the open world. I think that's the way to go.
Uh-oh.
Behind me! Ship set!
Protect the machine at all costs!
Oh joy, we're at this part. Did I die on this part if I recall? Did I? I don't think I do. I might actually get through this part unscathed. But I do remember this part being a little annoying. So I guess we'll see.
You've gotta restart the engine!
There we go.
Shoot them, XA!
Somebody already down here shooting me. I won't lie, I do kind of like the art direction of this game. It's pretty nice. Pretty neat. I do think, like, the soldiers working for, what's his name, for the ambassador look a little generic, but I do like the designs for, like, the Praetors and the characters and all that stuff. I did like the, didn't we have, like, shark robots at the start of the game or something like that? Some kind of fish robots, those were kind of cool. Kind of wish we saw more of them later in the game, not gonna lie. Because I think once we get launched to the past, we never see those enemies again, and we get launched to the past pretty early in the game. So that's another thing I think is kind of cool with this story. I kind of like that we go through, like, smaller story arcs within a bigger story. Because most games have the main story, and then, like, the story arcs would just be side quests, or would be, like, tied to the main story entirely. But here you get, like, we get sidetracked because we get thrown to the past. We have to do side quests for some guy. We have to go fight an extra dude we wouldn't have had to fight if we didn't get sent to the past.
Send them packing.
And then, like, recently, like, I think a video or two ago, we had Xe get teleported to, like, a dream world where you had to fight this giant chicken and go through all these stupid obstacles and stuff. Pretty cool game design, really annoying voice for the villain of that area, and really annoying song in that one section. Okay, there we go.
What is up with this engine? It's down again!
We gotta do keys, okay. XXX, circle, square. There we go. Go, we're moving on up, and we're moving on up. Sorry, that's what the elevator going up reminds me of. This reminds me of the Jefferson's theme.
Evilware? You've got your machine! Where are you?
Right on cue, lackeys! There's no time to waste! Get on board the ship, now!
Looks like our ride's here, Shipset. Let's go!
Anyway, we're ending off the video here, so bye!